What's up, Marvel fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast back with another action figure review. This time, I'll be looking at the Diamond Select Special Collector Edition figure of the Incredible Hulk. Let's have a look at the packaging details. This is a very heavy figure with a wraparound card that says the Incredible Hulk. The bubble allows you to see the figure from the top as well as the bottom. We get this really intimidating artwork of the Hulk on the side, and on the back we get product shots as well as a brief write-up on the Incredible Hulk. This description says, transformed by his exposure to immense levels of gamma radiation, Dr. Bruce Banner soon found his mind and body overcome by a dangerous new force known as the Incredible Hulk. Emerging in periods of great stress or anger, the Hulk is capable of near limitless feats of strength and endurance beyond the dreams of normal humans. With his brilliant mind trapped within the Hulk's monstrous form, Bruce Banner must wage a constant war for control, or risk the lives of every man, woman, and child on the planet. The figure is clearly visible through the side of the bubble, and although I am a fan of this packaging, I wish that this radiation symbol weren't here. I would have preferred a clear bubble to see the entire figure. And now let's bust open this package and see what's inside. The figure comes with one accessory, and that is this rubble base. And this looks very realistic. This looks like actual rock. And here's a look at the underside of this base. This is very simple, and I'm fine with that. I'm not a huge fan of dioramas due to the space that they take up. I prefer something like this that's both basic and attractive at the same time. And here we see the Incredible Hulk, free of the package and ready to rumble as only he can. Even though this figure is now 13 years old and many other Hulk figures have been produced in that time, I still think that this is one of the best Hulk figures on the market. The appearance details are excellent. However, this figure does have some severe articulation issues. So let's have a closer look at the loose details now. Let's have a look at the lower body now, and I really appreciate this shade of purple on the pants, and you can see just how thick and massive these legs are, and I like the tattered pants as well. There's excellent sculpting here. You can see veins throughout the exposed sections on the flesh. The definition on the calf muscles is spectacular. And the pants have been sculpted in such a way to make them seem stressed. Perhaps the legs are just a little short, but that's a very minor criticism. I've also seen some collectors say that they don't like the exposed knee joints, but that's not a major issue for me. Now let's have a look at the torso, and this has been extremely well executed. The dark wash that has been used for definition reminds me of hatch marks and stippling, which I think is very fitting for a character that originated in comic books. Here's a look at the latissimus dorsi and these enormous ripped trapezius muscles. This torso hits that sweet spot of being defined, but at the same time being wide and functional, and that's how the Hulk's torso should look. Now we come to the arms, and when the character is billed as the strongest one there is, obviously the arms need to be massive and defined, and that is certainly the case here. The deltoids are round and ripped, and I certainly appreciate that. Perhaps there could be a little more separation between the biceps and the triceps. However, the forearm muscles are executed to perfection, and I really like how wide and massive the hands are. And the wrinkles sculpted into the hands look very realistic as well. Now we come to the head sculpt, and this is one of my favorite aspects of this figure. The Hulk has had so many different looks over the years. Every artist draws him differently. This head sculpt looks simultaneously humanoid and monstrous. Perhaps the forehead is a little too compact, but I definitely prefer this over the enormous Frankenstein's monster-like brow with which some artists depict the Hulk. The sculpting detail on the teeth is very intricate, as is the paint application. And for a raging monster like the Hulk, this expression is perfect. In terms of articulation, the feet move backward and forward at the ankle joint. There is some pivoting here, and there's also swiveling at the knees. However, the knees do not articulate well backwards and forwards, as you can see demonstrated here. The hips are also very limited. The figure really can't kick forward, nor can the figure step back. The legs can swivel around in the hip joints somewhat. However, this is not a good figure with which to do kicking poses. There's minimal movement in the waist. I would call this more of a pivot than a rotation. It may go a little further, but I hesitate to try to push the outer limits on a joint of a 13-year-old figure. There is no upper torso joint on this figure. However, there is rotation at the wrists and swiveling at the elbows. The elbows can bend to this degree, which I think is acceptable for a figure of this size. And it's also possible to do a 360 at the shoulder joints. It's also possible to raise the arms up at the shoulder joints a considerable degree, and that will give you posing options. In terms of the head sculpt, the head moves side to side easily. It can actually go all the way around on the joint. I've heard that it's commonplace for this figure's head sculpt to stay in a looking up position, and that is the case here, but overall I don't have an issue with the level of articulation for this figure's head. I should also point out that this figure has peg holes on the bottom of the feet, and this will allow you to fit the figure securely onto the base. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, don't forget to tell all of your friends about my content. I would certainly appreciate it. And I'll be back with more Marvel content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching!